Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. In this session, we'll be discussing from the 42nd verse of the 13th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yatha gavo nasip prota tantyam baddhascha damabhi vak tantyam namabhir baddha vahanti balim ishituhu. The meaning of this verse is, as a cow bound through the nose by a long rope is conditioned, so also human beings are bound by different Vedic injunctions and are conditioned to obey the orders of the Supreme. Narad Muni is explaining how we are all controlled by the Supreme Lord through the Vedic injunctions. Now, how does it work? Prabhupada explains this in the purport. Every living being, whether a man or an animal or a bird, thinks that he is free by himself. But actually, no one is free from the severe laws of the Lord. This is the reality, this is the truth. Nobody is free, nobody is independent. The laws of the Lord are severe because they cannot be disobeyed in any circumstance. The man-made laws may be evaded by cunning outlaws. But in the codes of the Supreme Lawmaker, there is not the slightest possibility of neglecting the laws. So Prabhupada is helping us distinguish between man-made laws, however stringently enforced or however powerful the government may be or the law enforcing mechanism may be. There's a difference. Man-made laws are possible to be evaded by somebody who is cunning or more intelligent or is more powerful than the enforcing authority itself. That's possible. But in the courts of the Supreme Lawmaker, there is not the slightest possibility of neglecting the laws. Krishna's laws, nobody can neglect or evade or avoid. That's not possible. A slight change in the course of God-made law can bring about a massive danger to be faced by the lawbreaker. We have experience. One tsunami, and even the most powerful persons in this earth planet we are living in, when they have to face such calamities, natural calamities, then there is no question of anybody being powerful or wealthy or influential or well protected by some material arrangement. All that doesn't work. None of those things work. Such laws of the Supreme are generally known as the codes of religion under different conditions. Codes of religion. God and God's laws as codes of religion, religious principles. But one should not think, oh, there are so many different religions and so many different scriptures. So, is there any commonality? Prabhupada says, but the principle of religion everywhere is one and the same. What is that one and the same principle of religion? Namely, obey the orders of the Supreme God, that is the codes of religion. Every scripture describes this. Authentic, bona fide scriptures we are talking about. We are not talking about some concocted religious systems. No. The authorized religious systems, they are given for the human beings to obey the laws of God and thereby be under the proper protection and safe protection of the Supreme Lord only. That is the condition of material existence. Material existence means we have to obey the codes of religion, which is the orders of the Supreme Lord. All living beings in the material world have taken up the risk of conditioned life by their own selection. Now, how is it that somebody comes under a particular set of laws in this material world? The creation itself is made like that. For example, this body that I have got, I think that I am the controller of my body. But actually the reality is I am not the real ultimate controller of the body, though I have some degree of control. So like I can lift my hand. Okay, that is given to you. That control is given to you. Limited control is given to you. I can digest the food I eat normally. But if I eat something which cannot be digested, or if I overeat, then I have to suffer indigestion, the consequences of indigestion. So where is my control? Can I digest anything and everything and whatever quantity I eat? No. So can I keep on working without taking rest when the body becomes fatigued? No. When there is an infection that attacks me, then some germs invade my body, then I have to suffer the consequences of that infection unless it is treated. I cannot be living a normal, healthy life. I have to suffer the symptoms of that infection. So like that, we are not ultimately under complete control of our body. Our body actually is controlled by material nature, who is the agency of God's control in this material world through this material body. Now, who doesn't have a material body? Every created being has a material body. Every created being. Brahma, beginning from Brahma, the first created being, the topmost Devata, up to the insignificant creatures, everyone has a material body. As soul, we don't have any suffering. There is no connection between the material body and the soul, except that this body is given to us simply because we desire some concocted enjoyment, and we violate the laws, and we are also given the punishment through this body only by the agency of God called material nature, Durga Devi. So we are taking up the risk of conditioned life by our own selection because we want to enjoy. We violate the laws and we come under the enforcement, law enforcement authority, forcing us to accept this body so that we will be given suitable punishment through this body. We thus become entrapped by the laws of material nature. We are trapped because even a slight violation, we have to suffer the consequences of that violation. The only way to get out of the entanglement is to agree to obey the Supreme. Actually, it is very simple. How do I get out of this entanglement? First of all, to understand that I am entangled itself requires some a particular type of intelligence. It's called spiritual intelligence. It is different from material intelligence. Please try to understand this point. Material intelligence is for ordinary material subject matters. But spiritual intelligence is something else. It is only possible to exercise our... Everybody has got spiritual intelligence because we spirit soul. Everyone, every living being spirit soul. But that spiritual intelligence is awakened and it is trained up to be utilized by spiritual instruction, by spiritual practice, by spiritual master, by spiritual direction given in this scriptures. So only that can awaken our spiritual intelligence. Spiritual intelligence is different. Like foolish people means they say there is no God, I don't believe in religion. Such foolish people, they don't they are unable to awaken their spiritual intelligence because they don't follow the scriptural directions. They don't have any spiritual practices. They don't obey the order of the Supreme Lord. And so therefore they have to suffer. They suffer in ignorance, spiritual ignorance. They might be materially very qualified or unqualified, whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as one is spiritually ignorant, it doesn't matter what is their material situation or material position, whether they are wealthy or they are poor, whether they are old or young, whether they are powerful or not so powerful. Materially, whatever the situation, if they are spiritually ignorant, they have to suffer in ignorance because they violate and they don't awaken their spiritual intelligence. Those who have awakened their spiritual intelligence by properly following the laws of God, they are the wisest people in the whole creation. They are called devotees of the Supreme Lord. And very easily they understand how the laws are working. They are able to see the hand of God in every action they do, everywhere. Everyone is under the control of God. So this requires spiritual intelligence to be able to understand, to be able to perceive, to be able to actually make a intelligent decision how to get out of this forced suffering. So it is to agree to obey the Supreme Lord. But instead of becoming free from the clutches of Maya or illusion, foolish human beings become bound up by different nomenclatures, being designated as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Hindus, Mohammedans, Indians, Europeans, Americans, Chinese, and many other designations like this. And thus they carry out the order of the Supreme Lord under the influence of the respective scriptural or legislative injunctions. See these material designations. Upadhi. Everybody has got Upadhi. I am this, I am that. Beginning with I am the body, and later on the body becomes decorated with different titles. Somebody studies in a university and acquires degrees like PhD or MA or whatever the university titles are. Or somebody becomes qualified as a doctor or a lawyer or a prime minister is elected or has won the popular vote and is in a very powerful position as the leader of a big nation, great nation, or even the post of a devata, much higher. Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, all powerful controllers. You can imagine the control of the wind which is blowing all over the universe. A very powerful position. But even he is subject to the laws of God in this material world. So nobody is independent. And therefore, to surrender to the Supreme Lord and agree to abide by His orders is the way to get out. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.